Hey, my friend, is it okay with you if I show you 1,000,000% proof, not 100%, 1,000,000%, yes, 1,000,000% proof that SWIFT is using Ripple XRP to settle all transactions? They will be using. It's already done. It's a done deal, right? 11,000 banks. The debate's going to finish today, my friends. The debate is over. I'm going to show you right now, not a tiny bit of proof, not a little bit, a medium bit, no. 100,000,000% proof that SWIFT uses Ripple. It's been planned for years. I only started doing videos 3.5 months ago, but I've been researching Ripple for numerous years. I always say it. I spent over 9,000 hours, I believe, researching Ripple. Just started doing videos, and I've been telling people that the whole debate between, oh, SWIFT is a competitor, Ripple's a competitor, Ripple saying we're going to take over SWIFT, it's all teeter. It was all planned years ago that SWIFT is going to use Ripple. So when they tell you Ripple's going to take over SWIFT, they're competing, we don't know if ever SWIFT is going to use it, it's all teeter, guys. Ripple's been planned for years, and you guys have been doing research for years. You know there's an agenda here. This is not a joke, right? But anyways, let me show you all the proof. You cannot even imagine what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to show you the SWIFT Sandbox. Oh my goodness, guys, do not miss this video. This is probably the most important video you'll ever see on SWIFT and Ripple. So let's get into it. Before I get started though, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It means a lot to me. I am reading your emails, your messages. I really appreciate, guys. Thank you so much for all the support. I love you guys too, and let's get into it. Oh my goodness, you really need to watch this video till the end. I'm going to settle the score this time. I'm going to settle it once and for all. 11,000 banks, 7 trillion per day. If you use the Ripple calculator that was created years ago by very prominent people, that would put Ripple at anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 each based on the XRP calculator. So this is the SWIFT CBDC Sandbox Project. This is a report that came out in March 2023. It's 15 pages. Talks about it's a sandbox. It's a sandbox, and it's literally to interconnect CBDCs. And it says here, connecting digital islands. So I took this PDF report and I put it in Grok 3 here. And I told Grok 3, go through this whole report and tell, this is phase 1, by the way. I'm going to show you phase 2 after. So this is phase 1 of the CBDC SWIFT Sandbox Project. Everything that's similar about this project of SWIFT and RippleNet, Ripple XRP, and so on. Everything about XRP, Ripple, their CBDC platform, Interledger, everything. Compare this with this PDF and tell me the similarities. Oh my goodness. Do not miss this, guys. I'm going to show you the guy that's been at SWIFT for 20 years. I'm going to show you, cannot even imagine what I'm going to show you this guy say. What he says. Oh my goodness. So you will have no doubt after this video. I promise you, there will be no doubt. So please share this video with everyone, my friend. And please, if you like the video, it helps the algorithm. Everybody gets it. But my goodness, do I have something for you guys today. So the AI comes back and starts listing me everything that it's identical. So first of all, it says interlinking CBDC networks for cross-border. Number one thing it has in common. From the PDF, SWIFT's experimental, they always say experimental, that's a lie. This is a lie. They're already lying to here. First paragraph in that PDF, they're already lying to you. It's not about experimenting. They already know it works. They've known for 6, 7, 8, 9, 7 years, at least minimum 7 years, probably more than that they can interconnect CBDCs and payment networks and everything with Ripple. So when they say they're experimenting, it's just because they know some people are going to read this PDF and they don't want you to know that this is guaranteed to happen. So that's why they always say this is a theoretical approach. We're just testing. We're seeing if it could work, maybe. It's all BS. They're lying. I promise you, God is my witness. They're lying to you. It's not experimental. Just want to make that very clear. So SWIFT experimental CBDC interlinking solution connects CBDC networks, and it talks about using Quorum and Corda DLTs. They're never going to say XRP here. They're never going to mention XRP in their documents as least as they can. They never mention XRP. Corda uses the Corda settler, which uses XRP for settlement. Corda exclusively uses XRP for settlement. And I know some people are going to say, oh, they're partnering with Solana now, and Solana is not a bridge asset. It doesn't do what XRP does. It doesn't have the decentralized exchange. It doesn't have the built-in order books. It doesn't have the automated market makers that XRP Ledger has. It doesn't have RippleNet with all the banks connected to it for that liquidity. Solana is not the bridge asset. It's not going to be the bridge asset for Corda. Forget it. Might do other things, but it's not the global liquidity solution for Corda. And like I showed you in many other videos, if you watch my other video, when Gilbert Verdian, when he was talking about the project they have with the BIS, the central banks are all central banks, and when he was talking about the regulated liability network, which used to be called the regulated internet of value, he said we also partnered with R3, who is bringing over the shared ledger where all of the tokenized assets will reside. He's saying that the shared ledger, all of tokenized assets reside on that shared ledger. What he means is that they're all settling through that shared ledger. And in my other videos, I proved how the shared ledger, the regulated liability network, the regulated settlement network, the unified ledger, and the finternet, financial internet, right? They don't want to say internet of value, they say finternet instead. Because if they say internet of value, everybody knows that's Ripple. Now, I show that in my other videos. I was the first one to prove that in my videos, that all of these 5 different terms that the central bankers are using in all of their projects, all of these 5 words actually mean the XRP ledger. So when they're talking about Corda DLTs here, it's the XRP ledger that they're using for settlement. But either way, once you watch this video, you'll have no doubt. I know they're mentioning Quorum and Corda here. Don't be deceived. This whole project, the settlement, cross-border, everything's being done through the XRP ledger. So you'll see in their documents, sometimes they'll mention Ethereum, they'll mention anything that they can mention is aside from saying XRP. But when you break down and do research, that it's literally XRP. But they'll never mention XRP. They're doing everything physically possible not to mention XRP. Even if you watch mainstream media, they're going to show you the top 5 cryptos, and somehow XRP is not even there. How is that possible? You've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, but the XRP is always removed. Across the world, they never mention XRP. Even when they're showing the top 5 and XRP is supposed to be, let's say, number 3, they never show Ripple. It's like they go 1, 2, 5, 6, they jump right over Ripple. Is that a coincidence? No. Anyways, let's get back into it. I just wanted you to know that I'm fully aware, I'm in Corda, I'm fully aware of that. This is XRP, my friends. Don't get it twisted. This is XRP. I'm going to show you the proof. I'm going to show you 1,000,000% proof here. Ripple's technology. RippleNet and the XRP ledger interlink payment networks and CBDCs for cross-border transactions, splitting them into domestic legs. Ripple's private CBDC platform allows CBDCs to stay within domestic systems using intermediaries or XRP as a bridge, mirroring SWIFT's approach to avoid direct cross-border transfers and reduce friction. Sandbox Phase 1 of SWIFT, the SWIFT Sandbox, Phase 1, that was published 2023. Both systems enable interoperability between digital currency networks and traditional systems without currencies leaving their ecosystem, a core feature of Ripple's design since 2012. This has been the core feature of Ripple's design since 2012, now extended to CBDCs. And remember, guys, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a guy. He was the regional manager for SWIFT for 20 years. And I'm going to show you what he talks about Ripple. He's saying how Ripple is the ultimate solution. It's the best. He talks about how SWIFT can use Ripple. He says, SWIFT runs through my blood is what he says. And wait till I show you what he says. But I got to show you this first. Don't miss this, my friends. Don't miss this. Point number 2. The project, the SWIFT Sandbox, uses connectors for network integration. From the PDF, it says the SWIFT CBDC connector acts as a bridge, handling message translated to ISO 20022, rule processing and access to CBDC networks, so on and so forth. Why it's identical to Ripple? Right here, why it's identical. The connector model in both, meaning in Ripple and in the SWIFT Sandbox, is a plug-and-play interface for linking ledgers or systems, enabling seamless integration. Ripple's CBDC platform uses similar private connectors for central bank control. Number 3, hub and spoke architecture. Why they're identical? Both employ a hub and spoke for reducing complexity in cross-border flows, promoting scalability and standards-based interoperability, directly aligning with Ripple's network design. This is Ripple. This is a hub and spoke model. You've got the hub in the middle, and this is the spokes right here. Every central bank or every payment system is connecting to Ripple, and they're all settling through XRP. So this is the hub and spoke model that they're talking about. And I showed you in other videos about the hub and spoke model, and I proved that it was XRP, right? So again, the SWIFT network here, their new sandbox that does instant settlement, cross-border, CBDC, everything that Ripple does, right? Their new sandbox, published in 2023, uses a hub and spoke model. The same thing that we're seeing in the BIS, which I've proven in my other videos, is the XRP ledger. But in reality, this has always been the model of SWIFT right here. A big mess. There's no hub and spoke here. It's a big mess. This is the old SWIFT. This is the new SWIFT. SWIFT's going to run through XRP. This is a new SWIFT, which is a hub and spoke model. So I just want you to understand here. They're saying that the SWIFT sandbox is a hub and spoke. This is what SWIFT is supposed to be, a big mess. A big mess. Illiquid pairs everywhere, just a big mess. And this is the new model, hub and spoke. So this hub and spoke model for reducing complexity in cross-border flows, promoting scalability and standards-based interoperability, directly aligning with Ripple's network design. Atomic settlement and escrow mechanisms. So you've got the article here. It talks about how the PDF sandbox says that it uses escrow for conditional payments with a release fund mechanism to release escrowed funds atomically upon conditions met via 002 messages. Previously explored hash time locked contracts, but opted for a release fund for enhanced. It describes Ripple's technology, how it has time locks and exactly what is described in the PDF and why it's identical. The escrow and release for atomicity is functionally the same as XRPL's escrow. The functionality is identical to the XRP ledger's escrow features and the HTLC, so the hash time lock that Ripple has. Only Ripple has that. Mitigating settlement risk in cross-border scenarios. Ripple pioneered this in blockchain payments. So again, this is the hash time locked contracts, including the escrow features. This is Ripple's tech, my friends. Intermediary models for liquidity and FX. So number 5, it talks about what the PDF says, and then it's going to tell you why Ripple is identical. Both address liquidity risk through intermediaries and bridge mechanisms, with Ripple's XRP enabling efficient FX similar to SWIFT's exploration of non-CLS currencies and synchronicity in settlements. Number 6, support for permissioned DLTs and centralized architectures. So why is Ripple identical to the SWIFT sandbox here? Ripple's shift to private permissioned ledgers for CBDCs matches SWIFT's preference, both avoiding public DLT for regulatory reasons while enabling scalable networks. Number 7, messaging standards and transaction flows. Standardized messaging for interoperability is a shared foundation with both systems handling payment flows and enhancing with services. Ripple has integrated ISO 20022 since its adoption push. Not only has Ripple adopted the ISO 20022 that it's described in this paper here, the sandbox, not only has it adopted ISO 20022, Ripple is the only blockchain company that's actually on the governance and standard setting for the SWIFT. Ripple is helping to set the standards and governance for the ISO 20022. Number 8, extension to new use cases and the BIS alignment. So the Bank for International Settlements, right? From the PDF, and then here, why it's identical. Both align with BIS models for global interoperability, extending domestic CBDCs to cross-border use cases like conditional payments. Ripple's involvement in similar initiatives shows direct conceptual overlap. And I explained in my other videos that Ripple is the only blockchain company on the BIS cross-border interoperability task force. Now, number 9, collaborative sandbox testing and iterations. Why it's identical. The methodology of sandboxing for validation and iteration mirrors Ripple's development process, ensuring real-world applicability for cross-border CBDCs. So, in the SWIFT sandbox here, phase 1, the sandboxing methodology, it mirrors Ripple's method, the method that Ripple uses to test everything in a sandbox environment. The SWIFT CBDC phase 1, the hub and spoke CBDC sandbox phase 1 of SWIFT is identical. So these are 9 points here that are identical in phase 1. Everything about the SWIFT project is identical to Ripple's technology, to the T, my friends. And you've got phase 2 as well here, which is identical, but I was going to do it in this video, show phase 2, but the video is going to be way too long. I'll do that in part 2. For now, I'm just going to jump and show you something else. So I'm not going to do phase 2. All right, so here's the money shot. There's plenty more money shots to come. So again, keep watching, my friends, because I'm tying everything together. It's going to be crazy what you're going to see here to tie in together with this SWIFT Sandbox document. Graham Bright, he was the head of compliance services for SWIFT for 20 years. He was at SWIFT. The same guy that said SWIFT runs through my blood, right? Organization, SWIFT. The key responsibility, he was a compliance oversight, managed anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing. He ensured connecting over 11,000 financial institutions, all that stuff. Now, his new role, he went to ExIm Bank. He's the director now of ExIm Bank. He expressed positive views on Ripple and XRP, particularly in 2018. 7 years ago, this guy started talking about Ripple like it was God's gift to humanity, okay? 2018, you're talking 7 years ago, he admitted that SWIFT could run on Ripple and Ripple is great and so on and so forth. This is 7 years ago, my friend. He praised Ripple's technology, sparking speculation about potential SWIFT-Ripple collaboration. Now, let's listen to this guy for a while.
Here's a discussion surrounding crypto replacing SWIFT. So we did speak earlier where you mentioned that it's not necessarily about replacing SWIFT, it's about complementing it. So let's get some more information on this.
So she says, you mentioned earlier that it was not about replacing SWIFT. Crypto's not replacing SWIFT, meaning XRP. She's talking about XRP here, right? She says, you said earlier that crypto's not replacing SWIFT, it's about complementing it. So what she's saying to him indirectly is, earlier you told me we're not replacing SWIFT. XRP is not replacing SWIFT. It's complementing SWIFT, because that's what I've been telling people for a long time. It's all been planned for years. They knew SWIFT was going to connect into Ripple. But when they say, oh no, we're at war with SWIFT, SWIFT is competing with Ripple, will Ripple ever take it over? It's all teeter, my friends. They knew for years that Ripple was going to complement SWIFT, and SWIFT's simply going to settle all the transactions on Ripple. SWIFT 2.0, basically. All right, so let's listen to what he says here.
Let's get some more information on this.
I used to work for SWIFT. I was SWIFT for 20 years, so SWIFT is flowing through my veins. SWIFT is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers payments, FX, trade. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement to the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace SWIFT. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that SWIFT.
So he's lying here, of course, right? The way he words it, listen to me carefully here. He says people who want to use Ripple for settlement when they need to do the FX, they could use it. They always need FX. The problem is right now, if you're not using instant settlement, the payment has to go through 4, 5, 6 correspondent banking. And it takes like sometimes a week or two for the payments to get there. There's a 7% error rate. They don't even know where the payment is at. They don't even know if it's reached a destination or not. It's a big mess. So everybody needs FX. He's making it sound like some people will use it for settlement if they need it. They all need it. That's the problem. That's the problem that RippleNet is fixing. So he's making it sound like it's an option. It's not an option. This is why Ripple exists. This is why Ripple was created. SWIFT is obsolete. It's a dinosaur. It's worse than a dinosaur. It's a dinosaur that died. So I just want to point that out to you. He's making it sound like whoever wants to use it could use it. For FX, no, they all need to use it.
Entry networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that.
They all need it.
And I think we're also seeing that SWIFT are changing the network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the SWIFT network as the currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
Which is all so we're going to listen more here. It gets better. It gets better, my friends. All right, so let's listen to what he says here. This is the same interview. Oh, and guys, this is a video I had done on mBridge. Same thing. mBridge is XRP, my friends. If anybody tells you that mBridge is not the XRP ledger because it's a shared ledger, blah, blah, they're confused. They don't know what they're talking about. Just watch my video here. I'll try to remember to post it at the very end. Right here, he's going to talk about, again, same thing, but this is another video I talked about mBridge, Project mBridge. So they're going to talk. Anyways, you'll see, my friends. Just keep watching. This is very good. But this is the same guy.
Okay, so let's be very clear what Ripple is as far as we're concerned. Remember, it's a technology company, not only the provider of the crypto, the XRP currency as such, the digital asset. So from a technology point of view of a company, the whole of the point of view is linking up different players in the markets, financial markets, to ensure there's a very rapid, guaranteed, transparent, frictionless movement of funds underlined with the XRP currency.
So he said Ripple is all about different jurisdictions, different players. What is mBridge? It's about linking, right? It's linking different CBDCs, different nations together. Continue listening here. It's going to get better. Which is the same as the SWIFT Sandbox. Exact same thing. So mBridge, Project Agora, the SWIFT Sandbox, they're all the same. It's all the XRP ledger, my friend. It's all the XRP ledger. Right now, I'm going through every BIS project at the Innovation Hub, and I'm showing you guys how it's all the XRP ledger. It's all the XRP ledger. Project Icebreaker, Project Nexus, Agora, mBridge, Project Jura. I think I have 7 or 8 projects right now on my YouTube channel. It's all the XRP ledger. So let's continue, guys.
But what that also means is that there are 2 particular services being offered. The first one being the X current, where we're able to pay away immediately across Ripple in real time. Then when we look at traditional payment methods, we're looking at perhaps hours or days in which to actually facilitate a payment anywhere in the world. Every bank deals with every other bank, which means, again, there's Ripple in real time. Then when we look at traditional payment methods, we're looking at perhaps hours or days in which to actually facilitate a payment anywhere in the world. And that means it has to go through a correspondent banking relationship. Not every bank deals with every other bank, which means, again, there's a causation or a link between a number of different players in the market. That takes time, could be money, and in some instances, a number of weeks can go past where a payment is trying to struggle its way through a link of banks who don't necessarily have relationships with each other. And banks being what they are, what we're looking at using Ripple is an association, a network of financial institutions who've signed up to a rulebook, there are standards, there's a transparency, and a way to real-time move.
So he said the reason we're looking at Ripple is that there's that network of bank, that's RippleNet, that have all signed up to a rule book. And there's transparency and everything is up and up. A lot of people don't realize, but that RippleNet is AML compliant, anti-money laundering compliant. It's KYC compliant, know your customer, which are the 2 major regulations for international transfers. It's a completely compliant for those 2 regulations, which is the main regulations for global payments and transfers. Plus, RippleNet has a rule book that all of the banks and payment companies that sign up with RippleNet, they agree to that rule book. A lot of people don't realize that. So while Ripple was being sued in this fake lawsuit and making everybody panic, I'm not sure if you've watched my other video where I explain why I'm absolutely convinced that this lawsuit is a sham. But anyways, I might make a video just on that one day. But again, while Ripple was being sued, they were fully compliant. Ripple was not worried. That's BS. It's all theater. Because RippleNet was fully KYC compliant, fully KYC and anti-money laundering, AML, anti-money laundering compliant. Plus it had a rule book that all of the banks signed up to. All right. So watch this, my friend. So this is Project mBridge. This is on the BIS website. I'm still on the BIS website here. Project mBridge. The project steering committee has created a bespoke governance and legal framework, including a rule book. Tailored to match the platform's unique decentralized nature. Isn't that interesting? So we've got this guy from SWIFT. He was at SWIFT for 20 years. He's saying how Ripple has a rule book that can be trusted. It's fully compliant. It's got a legal framework. That's what he said. There's governance, legal framework, and a rule book. He just said that about Ripple. And here, the mBridge project has a rule book. Isn't that interesting? Now, in the first video, in part 1 of the mBridge XRP Ledger series that I launched a few days ago, I showed how the mBridge has everything is identical to the XRP Ledger, right? Even from the way that they issue CBDCs, everything is absolutely identical. Everything about mBridge is absolutely identical to RippleNet and the XRP Ledger and so on and so forth. But now, again, even more evidence, there's a rulebook just like RippleNet. Isn't that interesting? So now I'm on the Ripple website. Let me zoom this in. What do we have here? What do we have here? Benefits of RippleNet. One simple integration. Standard rules. All network members adhere to the RippleNet rulebook. A common global framework with functional standards and SLA. Isn't that interesting? Now we're going to continue listening. I skipped it about a minute here. Listen to what he says here about liquidity, and then I'm going to go back to the BIS document. Listen just carefully, guys.
So that's the X-current part of the system, the ability to pay away in a certain currency in real time and being able to see exactly where your payment is taking place. The next one, X-Rapid, is a different type of service. It's where we're looking at the liquidity levels and the amount of capital needed in order to do a transaction to a different country. Here, what we're using, instead of switching into dollars to pay a dollar nostro, is with locally, I would perhaps take Nigeria.
So imagine, guys, this is the guy that's been at SWIFT for 20 years. He was a managing director and the head of compliance for 20 years with SWIFT, right? And he's going to talk literally about 30, 40, 50 minutes here straight, just talking about all the benefits of Ripple for liquidity, for cross-border payments, for instant settlement, for linking CBDCs. It's unbelievable. And it's exactly what he's describing is exactly what I just showed you in the SWIFT Sandbox paper, right? So you don't want to miss this. Keep listening, my friends.
In Naira into XRP. XRP is the underlying asset, and at the other end, the other party switches from XRP into its local currency. So what we're looking at is liquidity instantly being available through a vast amount of XRP currency in order to facilitate local transactions being able to pay away into local markets. And that happens again in real time with a guarantee that there's no fluctuation on the currency as that particular digital asset moves across. Remember, it's in real time as well.
So he's talking about Ripple XRapid. You can have liquidity provisioning. Like you can see it's instant liquidity. It's got all these advantages for liquidity. All right, my friend. So he was at SWIFT for 20 years. So now I'm going to show you a new statement from the SWIFT CEO here. So this would be, I believe, the new SWIFT CEO. Shout out to Smoke Dog. Give this guy a follow. The guy's an absolute legend. So this is what the guy says. The SWIFT CEO, he says, big part of Ripple's proposition is XRP. SWIFT is only hesitant to use XRP currently because of uncertain regulatory environment legal issues. After regulation pass, SEC case concludes, XRP will have the green light. This is what Smoke is saying. But this is what the SWIFT CEO says, I think that the big part of Ripple's value proposition is the cryptocurrency XRP. Yeah, RippleNet, XRP Ledger, all that stuff. Then he continues to say, there we do find the banks are hesitant to convert things into a cryptocurrency right now because of the volatility in the currencies. This is complete BS. This is complete BS. With RippleNet, they're fully compliant. They're AML compliant, they're KYC compliant, and they've got a global rulebook that everybody signs up to. What they're waiting for is the ISO 20022 to fully be implemented in November 22. This is what they're waiting for, because you need to have the messaging format. So they want you to think that it has to do with the lawsuit and all this BS. It's complete BS. So now he says, another reason why SWIFT is hesitant, not willing to use cryptocurrencies, is because the legal status of XRP and other cryptocurrencies remains unclear due to the current uncertain regulatory environment. Risk-averse financial institutions are unlikely to adopt cryptocurrencies until regulations become clearer. Blah, 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 right? So again, here you have the SWIFT CEO saying how XRP is awesome. So we've got the general manager of SWIFT. He was there for 20 years. Talking for about 45 minutes how amazing Ripple is. He describes everything that the SWIFT Sandbox describes here. Sandbox Phase 1, that was in March 2023. Now the new guy, the CEO, is really talking about Ripple again, how amazing it is. And XRP is a great, of course, it reduces the whole mess that you have to deal with SWIFT, Nostro accounts, sending payments. You don't even know where the payment is at. You don't even know if it reached its destination. You've got 7% error rate. It's just unbelievable. There's no liquidity. It's just a big mess. It's unbelievable. But anyways, I'm going to end my rant here, my friends. I'm going to post Project mBridge. I'm going to try to post Project Nexus as well. And I'm going to do another part 2 of this video. So I'm sorry if I was a bit all over the map in this one, at the very end there. But it's just because I decided to not do the SWIFT Sandbox Phase 2 in the video. So I took a different turn because I realized the video was going to be like an hour if I did that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really means the world to me. Thank you so much for the love, for the comments. Leave a comment below, please. Let me know what you think. If you're not sure what to say, just put SWIFT Sandbox in the comments and I'll know that you've watched it. So thanks again, guys. Wishing you a great day, great night, great evening wherever you are. And God bless you so much. Thank you.